This is the Glenn Beck Program.
Harvard students have been asked, what's the bigger threat to world peace, America or ISIS? You know, the people who are currently beheading people. What's the bigger crisis and biggest threat to world peace?
What is a bigger threat to world peace, America or ISIS?
To world peace? Oh, America.
In many ways, I have to think it's America, because America's making decisions that are much more likely to affect the world.
What is a greater threat to world peace, America or ISIS?
I think American imperialism and our protection of oil interests in the Middle East are destabilizing the region and allowing groups like ISIS to gain power.
As a Western civilization, we're
Hang
to
on,
blame
wait.
for a lot of the-
That doesn't even make sense. Our destabilization of the Middle East and allowing groups like ISIS to gain power. Okay, wait a minute. Hang on just a second. The destabilization was us no longer propping up dictators.
Which is what was really keeping the Middle East stable.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So propping up dictators was a really bad thing against, according to these brainiacs, a really horrible thing, propping up dictators. Okay, yes, we shouldn't be in the propping up a dictator's business. But when you stop doing that, you destabilize the Middle East. And that allows people like ISIS to get in, which when you say, and allowing groups like ISIS to get in, what you're inferring is you want someone in the United States of America to stop groups like ISIS over in the Middle East. You make no sense, you Harvard-educated nincompoop.
problems that we're facing now. I don't think anyone would argue that we didn't create the problem of ISIS ourselves.
I
No one.
would argue that.
No one would.
No.
No one would, Glenn. No one would argue that.
I would.
No,
one would.
I don't think anyone would argue that.
You could.
No, I would argue that.
No, no one
Come
can,
on.
so you couldn't.
You can't.
But I can.
You can't. Think of
He's from Harvard.
Oh, okay. You know what? I forgot. I
yeah.
forgot he was from Harvard. Okay.
Some level of the cause of it.
The amount of spending that America has on causes of potential destruction in the world is really outlandish. We've been learning about this recently, how much America spends on defense mechanisms alone. And it's really quite astounding compared to any other country in the world, really.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
So
Okay,
it's
hang
quite
on just a
astounding.
second.
The mechanisms.
The mechanisms, the amount we spend on mechanisms, the amount we spend, listen to this, the amount we spend on defensive weapons.
It's really astounding.
Defensive.
It's really outrageous compared to the rest of the world.
Defensive weapons. And by the way, the reason why we spend so much more than the rest of the world is because we're protecting everybody else in the rest of the world.
Yeah.
I've got no problem, baby, sweetie, honey, boopy,
Pumpkin.
and I mean
Pudding.
that with all of the love and respect that pumpkins that go to Harvard deserve. I'm willing to stop spending so much money. In fact, I think it's really
Me too.
important that we stop spending so much money. But that requires everybody else around the world
Take care of themselves.
to take care of themselves. The reason why nobody is spending any money around the world to take care of themselves is because we spend it all.
For them.
Yes.
Japan.
We're doing it.
Korea.
Germany. Eastern Europe.
Yes.
England. All of it.
Irritating.
All of it. We spend all our money taking care of being the babysitter for the rest of the world.
She's right. That is outrageous. We should stop doing that. Let's stop doing that.
I'm willing to stop doing that. But I want you to know, as soon as you do that, sweetie, boopy, pumpkin, here's what happens. You destabilize the rest of the world. I just want to point that out.
Yeah.
That's the result.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Conversation last night with a couple of my neighbors, and that
listen to this. I bet that
they
was
can see
fascinating.
how the ideology of ISIS might appeal to people in the Middle East who aren't familiar with
Got good neighbors.
how we think over here as Americans. They have
Right.
a skewed view of us, just as a lot of Americans have a skewed view of them.
I have
Hang
a
on.
skewed
Yeah.
view of ISIS. I really
Hang
do.
on.
I have a skewed view
Well,
of
what's your
people
skewed
who-
view? What's your
Well,
skewed
I
view?
don't like people who behead others.
Oh, wow, that's
you don't
skewed.
I
understand
don't.
them.
It's a little
You-
skewed, and I
you
think that's
don't
wrong, and I
understand
don't
them.
like them for that.
You don't understand.
You've made that.
I don't.
Concrete.
I did.
Distinction.
Yes. I
made
drew
a
a line
hasty-
in the sand where I thought
You've made
beheadings. That's wrong to me.
Why are you using sand? Why are you using your line in sand?
Oh boy,
Very
what
good.
does that
That's-
mean?
Wow.
Holy
Good pickup.
cow!
Hate monger.
You imperialist!
Oh yeah,
My
I know.
gosh,
I know.
it's sickening. It's sickening. Now let's go to the other brainiacs on the street. By the way, thanks to Campus Reform for that audio.